Wouldn't it be nice if the world worked like that and you could have a dashboard to see like if things were okay and if there was a red flag and you could just address it? Like at a spiritual level. I need a dashboard like that.
Welcome to God at Work, stories of calling, courage, and conviction. Through real stories and meaningful conversations, we'll discover how God shows up in the boardroom, the job site, and beyond. Here's your hosts, Gina Ventola and Adam Kemper.
Welcome to God at Work. Today we're joined by Duane McHodgkins. Duane is the owner of Duane's Reliable Computer Services based in Parker, Colorado, as well as an author. Duane has been married to his wife Becky for 41 years and has two grown children. He's also the author of two, soon to be three, self-help books, Lessons from the Business Heroes of the Pandemic and the Higher Education Scam. Duane, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Welcome.
Thanks, Adam. It's great to be here.
Duane, I'm so glad you're here. First of all, you win a medal for having the coolest domain name. Would you share with our audience real quick what your domain name is?
Yeah, so my domain is calldwayne.com. And
So if you ever run into IT issues, call Duane.
Call Duane, yeah.
As a
Stumbled
marketing
across
guy, I
it by
fully
accident,
support that.
So Duane, you know our podcast is called God at Work. What does that phrase mean to you?
I think basically it means that God is at work in all of our lives while we are going through our day, and hopefully the work that we're doing is adding God to others' lives, that hopefully they can see in us, even if it's what's different about this person. And that's what I would love for people to think about me. So
going off what you just said, as far as others seeing Christ through us, what would that specifically look like in your world, in the IT world?
well, what I hope it looks like and what I strive for is a servant mentality, helping people, not taking advantage of people, doing my best for them. In my business, I spend a lot of time helping people not get scammed. I mean, that's a huge part. In a week's time, I probably get at least a dozen forwarded emails from regular customers saying, "Hey, is this real or is this, and I'm not doing this to charge them. I'm doing this because I don't want them to get scammed. I don't want their bank accounts affected. I don't want to get that phone call where they say, I accidentally clicked on a link and now my bank account is empty." So that's really,
I mean, it is truly biblical to protect people, and to be a servant protector is as biblical as it gets. So I love that. And you certainly have to deal with, I'm sure, more of that. I mean, IT and technology anymore, everything we use runs through it. So it's kind of the front lines of that. Does it ever feel a little bit like you're the guardian of a ton of people?
it's it's scary sometimes. So I have a dashboard where all of my business customers, I can look at their computers on a daily basis. And I logged in there the other morning and right away, red flag, one of my accountants. So this was before the tax season was over, and I'm seeing some things that had gotten onto his computer, and these are bad programs. They're scary programs. And I called him immediately. I'm like, "Look, I know you're in the middle of tax season, but I really need to get on your computer right now and we need to take care of these things because it's scaring me. And yeah, I mean, we were able to get on there and got rid of them, but it's like, wow, you know.
Wouldn't it be nice if the world worked like that and you could have a dashboard to see like if things were okay and if there was a red flag and you could just address it? Like at a spiritual level. I need a dashboard like that.
Maybe
Sorry.
God does have a huge, ginormous dashboard that each
Yeah,
of us have our own lights, and he's
yeah,
like,
he does. We don't. Yeah, that's it.
Right. I want access
"Tina,
to that dashboard
again."
for just for me. Just I don't need to see anybody else's.
But I find that very noble because I also come from the end user support world, which that's what you're doing at that point, with your dashboard is helping that end user. And there is a certain protectiveness, I think, that comes because I used to encourage my workers to forward me. I don't care if it's the Nigerian prince email, forward them to me. Let me check them out before you click on anything. And I guess some companies are getting better about sending out phishing emails.
Yeah.
So do you work with companies to do that?
I have that technology. The companies that I have, they would rather, so I've got filters in place to block all of this stuff. The smaller companies I work with, they don't feel that having the testing would be as helpful for them. And I think the reason why is, you with that testing, what happens is, okay, we're going to send out this month, everybody's going to get one email and it's going to be about, such and such, whatever. And there's a lot of different companies that can send those out for you and they look really real. But what my companies feel is that as soon as one person gets that, the other five people in the office are going to know about it. So it may not be as effective because, oh wow, I got the email. Here, look, this is what it is. And when you have a real small office in a very controlled environment, that's I think what ends up happening. So when they get real ones, they talk about it. When they get the fake ones, they talk about it. So I think that it goes a long way that way, rather than
So
sending out all those other ones.
so that's a lot of power. Like that's responsibility
Yeah.
and access and knowledge, which is all power. So how do you bring God into that to kind of make sure that that doesn't go to your head or lead to anything that you wouldn't want it to lead to? Because power tends to have a corrosive effect on the soul.
I don't really think of it as power, I mean, I have access to pretty much all of their files. I could go snooping if I wanted to, but I don't that's not a thought for me. Basically, what I take a responsibility that, I'm responsible for this company, these people, and and my goal is to make sure that no harm comes to them. And there are times when I am praying for that. And, as you're getting into things and, sometimes things get a little scary of an attack that might be trying to happen on this company or whatever. And at that point, I'm definitely sitting there praying that, Lord, let me stay ahead of this because it can get nerve-wracking.
I can imagine.
How do you not take credit for the talent that God has given you in that scenario where you're helping that end user?
Hmm. Um,
I know it's a tough one
Yeah.
because
Well, so I think in anything, when you are the expert and you're dealing with individuals and you have people saying, wow, this is fantastic that you're helping me and doing this and all this, it would be easy to do that, right? What the way I think about it is, and I tell people this, and then I discovered that this is actually a book that somebody wrote. So I was like, wow, I'm actually onto something. But I believe that along the lines of, okay, we all talk about IQ, which is your intelligence, right? And we talk about EQ, which is your emotions. I think there's a lot of those things, and that we all have our version of that. And I think I am very high in TQ. So God has given me this um, ability to understand technology in a heightened way. Okay, so that's just one of the gifts that I was given. So if you go at it with that type of mentality, then it's not like, haha, look at me, I'm so smart in this area. No, it's this is something that God gave me so that I can help people, so that I can, you know, be a servant among others.
Yeah, and then pride becomes less of a haha, look at me, and more of a I am so blessed that God gave me this skill and I'm so
Yeah,
thankful for it. And that really isn't pride, that's thankfulness and joy. So I hear the
exactly.
difference very much in that.
Yeah, 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 yep. I mean,
oh, I definitely agree.
I'm just fortunate that it took me till my mid 40s, but I finally realized what I wanted to be when I grew up. Um, so yeah, I'm glad I figured it out with the with God's help. Actually, and my wife's help, because she's the one that said you should do this. So
I love it. And as soon as you found that blessing, you decided to add to it and write some books. What's we got tell us a little bit more about well, especially the I know you've got the two on the screen here, but you've got a third coming as well. Would you share a little bit more about what those are based on and where that philosophy came from?
so what I've found is that and I don't know how I realized this, but writing is like therapy for me. When I am really frustrated by something, getting those words out helps me a lot. And then my goal is to that hopefully it'll help other people. So for instance, my first one, Lessons from the Business Heroes of the Pandemic. So I've built my business by networking with other business owners. And so a lot of my friends are those business owners. And during COVID, I was deemed essential. And so I was very busy. I was super busy. But a lot of my friends had their businesses kind of sidelined. And that really frustrated me. And it's like, this has, nothing that they did, but they're not allowed to open the doors because of this. And as I was driving around, I would notice companies that had pivoted or figured out a way to make it work. And as I was driving one day, the phrase business heroes kind of hit me. And I was like, okay, so these are the business heroes. So then I started just keeping track of the different places that had pivoted and what they were doing and how they were overcoming this. And then I started just writing those all down. And after a while, I realized, wow, this could actually be a book. When my ideas were tapped out, I went to people that I knew and I interviewed 12 people for that book. And so not only was it my ideas, but I added the ideas of these other 12 people. And the whole idea was let's put together a bunch of ideas to help others remain essential. And so it's about the pandemic, but it's advice that it's been 6 years or 5 years ago that I wrote that, but it's just as relevant today, if not more so than it was then. And like with the higher education scam, with that one, so I don't have a college degree. I made it 3.5 years of high school, and my guidance counselor made the mistake of telling me that I already had enough credits to graduate. So I said, "See ya." I knew I wasn't going to go to college. I'm not one of those people that enjoys school. I love picking up a book and teaching myself. And when I decided to open my business, that's what I did. I went and bought some books, taught myself how to do the things I wanted to do, and then I did it. And so with the higher education scam, I just saw that so many kids in high school were being pushed towards college when they really had no business going to college. They're not the student type people, and the things that they were wanting to do, or they had no idea what they wanted to do, why go spend all that money when there's so many other ways to go? So
I've
Do
always
you
thought,
include trade schools in higher
yeah, and
education?
so in that book I have like community college. They've got much shorter courses. I included yeah, the trade schools. Many of the school districts now are starting programs like I'm in Douglas County, and Douglas County has something called the Legacy Campus, and they have 10 different programs there that are kind of sponsored by companies in the area. And so you go to high school all morning. In the afternoon, you go to the Legacy Campus and learn these skills so that the day you graduate, you can go get a job at the hospital, and there's some IT things, a lot of different things. So yeah,
I've always thought that the ability to see others who maybe others don't see is a gift from God as well. Now, and there is definitely stories in both of those that I hear where, whether it's we didn't see them because we were all in our bunkers. I wasn't deemed essential, so I was furloughed and paid to stay home. And I'm also of the generation where I went to college because I was supposed to.
yeah,
So so I can appreciate both of those stories and how, there was a long time where those stories were not seen, not appreciated,
yeah.
and still some areas not. So I think there's a beauty in that, and probably a gift from God tied up in the ability to see others who some people overlook. I don't know if you've thought about it through that lens before.
I haven't thought about that, but yeah, I could see that. Yeah, yeah. It's I just I want to be able to help people, and so many times it's the underdogs that I want to help. And there's lots of underdogs in both of those books that yeah, I don't want to see people taken advantage of.
Yeah, a heart for others is a beautiful thing, and I love that. So where do you think you can improve with all this self-help stuff that you help with? Let me ask you the question, Dwayne, where do you feel like you can improve?
Well, so in my next book, which it's about negativity, um while writing that, I came up with and it's something that I've known. I mean, I read a lot of self-help books. It's what I'm interested. That's probably why I end up writing that too. But the whole idea of plus 1%. So what I'm working on now is every day, everything I do, I want to be plus 1% better than I was the day before or the last time I did this. So keeping that top of mind, it's gonna serve me really well.
just the desire to improve means that it's mindfulness and you'll move forward and improve when you're on what you focus on. So
Yeah,
yeah, I can
yeah.
appreciate that.
And just, having that thought. So it's like, okay, how can I do that today? How can I do that in this task? Whatever it is that you're doing, how can you do that 1% better? Which I Googled this because I wasn't sure, and I'm not that much of a mathematician. But I Googled, so if you increase 1% per day in the course of a year, you will have increased something like 78 times where you were. Not 78%, 78 times. So, is that 1% a day realistic? May not be. In some things it could be. But if you're shooting for that, gee, what if you only get 0.1% better each day? You're still going to be miles ahead in just a few months of where you are now. So
I love that. Duane, what is your main takeaway from lessons from the business heroes of the pandemic?
the main idea is that everybody is essential. I don't want to see, and it really, that's what really frustrated me, was seeing people that, if you worked for a company and you were furloughed, okay, you're still getting paid for it, but these people that had their own businesses, they weren't getting paid for that. Or, probably a lot of waiters and waitresses, they weren't getting paid anymore. So finding ways, okay, this happened, and the chance of something like this happening again, whether it's a worldwide event or just a personal event for you, the chance of this happening to all of us is it's out there, So I wanted to get these 12 ways out there so that people could start working on them. One of them was everybody needs a side hustle. And you hear a lot of people saying that today, that, it's really hard to survive on just one income. And the idea remains, well, what happens if that income goes away? You should have something else to fall back on. And maybe that's just something you do on a very part-time basis, but it's there. And maybe you're saving a little bit of money so that now you're building up your cushion so that, you have that, what experts say, 6 months or 12 months of living expenses set aside. So it's just things like that. Of course, one chapter was all about positivity. While I was writing that book, I discovered something called pronoia. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that phrase or that word. So it's actually the opposite of paranoia, where paranoia is the belief that others are against you or working against you. Pronoia is the belief that others are conspiring in your favor for no reason. And to me, that's a wonderful thing. It kind of goes along with my favorite Bible verse, which is Romans 8:28. And every time I try to paraphrase it, I always get it wrong. But it's, basically that all things work for good for those that believe in God. So, and I know it was a very bad paraphrase, but but it's along those same lines, and it's like, wow, I really like that word, and I try to live that.
Never heard the word before, but I'm pretty sure I live that model. Yeah. I love it.
Duane, what would you like our audience to learn about you and your relationship with God?
Um, you know, that is your personal relationship, and you shouldn't try to copy somebody else's. You should make it your own. It's no different than any other relationship you have. The more you work on it, the better that relationship is going to be. That is communicating, and communicating is both talking and listening. It's learning as much as you can, which that's an area that I need to work on more. But I have this probably the last 3 or 4 years, I have made an effort to do some type of devotion every single morning. I've done different books. Just bought a new one this year. It's called Strength for Life, and it's specifically for men. It's been helpful. It's been, it's just one of those where every day it's a concept that the book talks about, and then it gives you a number of scriptures to back it up, and just having those thoughts, widening that relationship as you go.
What would you like our audience to know about you and your business?
Well, honestly, if they're looking for someone in computers that speaks English, I would love to help them. That's that's one thing that a lot of my customers will tell me is that yeah, you were able to explain these concepts to me in words that I can understand. So that's something I really try to get across to people. It's not my goal to sound smart. It's my goal to make my customers smarter. And that's something I strive for. I want them to be as comfortable with technology as I am.
Well said. I like that.
Well, Duane, Adam and I appreciate you coming on our show. And I would like to
Absolutely.
ask, would you pray us out?
Sure. Lord, we thank you for this podcast. We thank you for both Adam and Gina and all the listeners to this podcast. I pray that they will get something out of this, that maybe this will help them in their relationship with you, Lord. And I just pray that anybody that digs into my books, that it'll be a blessing to them, that it'll help them, Lord. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
This is God at Work, reminding you to lead with faith, serve with purpose, and live out your calling. Until we meet again, keep walking boldly in your faith, at work and beyond, and remember, your business is your ministry.